Before we continue with the journey, let's review the feasting so far. We launched from St. Kitts in heavy seas and pitched and rolled our way northwest to St. Bart's. Then we made for St. Martin, then Saba, then back to St. Martin, then up to Anguilla. So far, we feasted on everything from bush tea to saltfish, Creole lobster to piles of spices, blaff to fungi, all washed down with a deep, dark quaff of malbi. And so the sun rises on day 9, which looks like it might be just as perfect as day 8, only more so. Our next port of call is the tranquil and amazingly flat Anguilla, which despite being only 7 miles from St. Martin as the seagulls fly, is 100 miles and several decades away in lifestyle. Now, the island, which is a British overseas territory, hosts several of the Caribbean's best beaches, including the one here at Sandy Ground, where we're anchored, where the bottom really is pretty sandy. The island is also known to host some of the Caribbean's best food, which would be a good thing for us. My only real trepidation about journeying into this 35 square mile area is the fact that most Anguillans are intensely private people who are known to shun attention and especially cameras. We'll have to deal with that.
Our boat can
Good
outrun.
for nothing half-wit bohemians.
This is the one time our boat can outrun them.
We make landfall at Sandy Ground's main dock, and I hit the beach in search of sustenance. Unlike St. Martin or St. Kitts, Anguilla is, well, pretty empty. And although beauty abounds, breakfast is not forthcoming. And so we head inland and pick up our guide for the day, Dale Carty, who besides being one of Anguilla's best chefs, knows where to find good eats at any time of day. So it's the morning of either, I don't know, day 9, day 10. We're on Anguilla, and pastries is what we're after. We're here in the main town, which is called the Valley, outside of Hall's Unique Bakery, which is apparently the place for baked goods on the island. Dale has gone in to get some stuff for us. Andre Hall opened his eponymous takeout eatery in 1989, and it quickly became an Anguillan institution, which is now run by Hall and his wife, Jeanette. The only place on Anguilla busier than the front counter at Hall's is back in the kitchen at Hall's, where they make everything from scratch, from loaf bread to rolls to cakes to wedding cakes to scrumptious fried pies, deli sandwiches, in which case they make the meats, the fillings, and even the bread, and more of those luscious little pies. Each day, saltfish and local fresh catch are cooked up with assorted aromatics, chopped, sealed in tender pastry envelopes, and baked. Fish for breakfast, a Caribbean tradition that mainland America might do well to consider.
This here is a signature item for the bakery, coconut tarts. This here is the dough that we make, and then we have the coconut, and we peel it, and then we grind it, and we cook it up.
How do you cook it up?
That is our secret.
Did you score?
We've got some goods here, some goodies.
Let me welcome you to my table.
Right here we do it. Right here we do it.
What you got?
We've got here some sandwiches. We've got saltfish. We've got tuna sandwich.
What is this called? This form here?
That's called a patty.
Patty.
That's a patty.
So, yeah, in Europe, a patsy or a pasty, depending on how you look at it. Ooh.
That's a raisin roll.
It's a raisin roll, several different patties.
And you've got a tuna sandwich here.
And a tuna sandwich for breakfast.
Tuna sandwich for breakfast. It's a saltfish pan. How do you like it?
Well, first off, I like saltfish a lot. Mm-hmm. The pastry is nice and robust. So this is really a working man's meal, because you can like put it in your pocket.
Grab that and you go.
And go.
It's a ground beef patty.
There's curry in that. What, green curry?
Yes, has curry inside of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. It reminds me of something we have in America, the manwich. Or a sloppy joe, only curry. So meat is a common part of breakfast here. Yeah.
Ground beef, tuna and that sort of stuff. They do sandwiches with them, patties, and it's a big breakfast thing. Get him right there.
I'm Alton Brown. How are you?
Oh, you were on TV.
I'm the one on TV. Yeah? How are you?
With your face in the oven, showing everything.
Face in the oven.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying your pastries very much.
Folks at Hall's won't spill the beans as to the contents of their famed coconut tarts, but I suspect that besides shredded coconut, almond extract or essence, sugar and sweetened condensed milk are heavily involved. Simple, yes, but delicious too.
Wow, and I'm not really a coconut person, but there's some almond in there.
Why do you do it? There are easier ways to make a living.
We love it.
Why do you love it?
Because it's like the name of the bakery say. It's a unique
way of doing things.
Baked products, and that's the way we want to keep it.
Yeah.
We want to keep it as local as possible.
Yes.
You
And
know?
people love it. People come from all over and just come to Hall's Junior Bakery. They enjoy it.
And so would you say that that's really why you do it? If people didn't
Yes.
love you so much and if you didn't feel that,
Yes.
would you keep doing it?
No.
Nope.
Thank you for your pastries.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Wonderful. Thanks
You're
very
welcome.
much.
Thank you.
We're saved. 10 coconut tarts. Everything's going to be okay. When the feasting continues, we have some fine wine before noon, I might add. Triggerfish with Johnny Cakes on the side. The world's best tomato, quite possibly. The most organic farmer on Anguilla, and a plane that missed the runway. Having filled up on fancy baked goods, of course, our mind turns to, well, what else? Homemade wines. Of course, Dale knows everybody on the island and directs us to his favorite spot.
Very local spot.
Inside its bright canary yellow exterior, Christabel's is about as cheery gets. Of course, you can get even cheerier if you imbibe Christabel's wines, all made with local fruits and, in at least one case, flowers.
Sorrel wine.
Now, on the island, sorrel's a fruit, right?
No, it's like a petal.
It's like a pepper.
It's like a flower.
Flower, okay. Because in the States, sorrel's a small green.
This is sorrel. It comes in a petal.
Yeah,
That is what we would call hibiscus, then, a part of that family, the hibiscus family.
It carries a seed on the inside.
Seed on the inside.
Yes.
Okay. So we get to taste some of that wine.
Sure.
You got a little bit, maybe.
Sorrel, yes.
You know, it's not quite 10 in the morning, but
That's okay.
sorrel wine.
This is 5 months old.
In God we trust.
In God we trust. That's what we say.
Not in the Queen or anything like that.
No, in God, we trust.
We put it on our money.
Yeah, it works for you too, huh? It's on your money.
It's a little. It's not bubble.
Yes.
A little tangy, little bit of effervescence,
Yes,
as we
because
say.
what happened? We put a little cinnamon,
Uh huh.
and we put some lime peel. If you want to give any kind of flavor, you can put a little clove in it. You can put ginger. You could put anything. But I just plain sorrel with a little ginger. And orange peel.
An orange zest. I get the ginger.
Yeah.
But just a little.
Yes,
It's very
just a
good.
little.
While I would be perfectly content to sit and sip Christabel's sweet concoctions all day, Dale is itching to be on the move, and after a quick cell call, he directs me to drive over to Rendezvous Bay, a place called Dune Preserve, which started out in the 90s as a bar built out of driftwood and broken bits of boats leaned up between some palm and bobby trees. Since Dale became a partner, however, this once cheerful dive has become something of a culinary destination. Today, the Dune Preserve kitchen is manned by Alma and Sean Hodge. On the menu, pan-fried triggerfish, perhaps the most popular finfish in the islands, and ubiquitous but delicious Johnny Cakes, which are just like biscuits, only they're fashioned from melted fat rather than solid. And of course, they're fried instead of baked. Now, wisely, Alma shapes them ahead of time so that she can simply fire them to order. Now, if you're a fan of this show, you might sense a similarity to the Navajo fry breads we encountered in Arizona. And you'd be right, they're very similar. Plating of this dish takes advantage of the leaves of the sea grape plant, which Christabel happens to make wine of. Well, she makes wine out of the fruit, that is. The Johnny cakes go on, the fish is patted, it goes onto the plate, and then comes an interesting sauce that is full of locally grown vegetables, peppers mostly. Oh, and of course, everything gets finished with a little bit of lime.
Fried fish and Johnny cake.
Johnny cake everywhere in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But there are different ways of making them. I've seen them with yeast, I've seen them without yeast. I've seen them with baking powder, I've seen them with baking soda. I've seen them where you make them right away, I've seen them where you let them sit overnight. What?
We let them sit, and we do use baking powder.
Sit?
Yeah.
Baking powder.
Sit. And I don't know if you've heard what the word Johnny cake came from in these islands.
Go ahead.
The name Johnny cakes came from a journey. In the olden days, when the men would have to go out on sea or go out for a far distance all day, the journey they're going on, they prepare cakes for that journey. That's how that came about.
Well, this is a particularly tasty journey. I'm gonna make a little sandwich here.
Yeah, triggerfish. Triggerfish is a fish that in the olden days, the women would use the skin from the triggerfish to scrub pots to clean the floors with.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a leathery, very thick skin that you cut the edges and you pull off. You pull it off, and the women would use that to clean floors, to scrub pots with. We call it old wife.
Old wife.
The name is old wife, but we say triggerfish too.
These Johnny cakes are a lot more like bagels.
Oh, you find
chewy on the outside, kind of bagel-like. The bagel of the Caribbean.
The bagel of the Caribbean. That's what they say.
Very good. Everybody eat now.
Everybody
back away. Everybody have some. I'm going to finish that Johnny cake. Everybody else gets everything else.
Well, I finish my Johnny cake, and then I finish all the other Johnny cakes too. And that means I need a nice long walk to work it off. The view's good though. The afternoon draws 9. We have to bid Dale adieu, dropping him off at another one of his restaurants.
Although British colonies in the 1600s tried to grow both tobacco and corn here, the truth is this is not a volcanic island, so there's not the great fertile soil that places like St. Martin have. So one way around that is that you can grow vegetables here hydroponically, and we're going to go check out a hydroponic farm if I don't kill us in the roundabout. Hold on.
When feasting returns, a couple of very interesting farms with very different approaches.
Resort. Usually we shy away from resorts, but this hydroponic farm that we hear about here is worth taking a look at. Most of the Caribbean islands have to import vast amounts of their high percentage of their agricultural products from the mainland, from the States. This may be kind of how they're going to get around that one day, in the future.
Actually, our destination is not a farm per se, but a resort. The Cuisinart Resort, named after the company that makes food processors, which also owns this place. It is very nice, with beautiful views and architecture. Amenities, as they say, abound, and the food is delicious. Much of it grown by this man, Dr. Howard Resch, who runs the hydroponic farm on site.
Okay, now,
is it okay to take photographs in here?
All you want.
Being how it's a glass
building. The only thing I'm asking
building.
you to do is walk in this bleach mat because it'll sterilize your shoes. I'll get them to cut the radio.
And given the places that we've been, I might just want to get down and roll on this. Well, what all do we have here? Can you what we're looking at right here?
This is a salad crop. You can sample anything you wish. And then we've got arugula here, 2 beds.
Arugula, my favorite.
These are 2 different types of arugula. And then we have oak leaf lettuces. Being grown in the greenhouse, they're very, very tender, It's not like outside. They're not wind blown or anything like that.
The arugula is fantastic. And this is all...
This is all European bib or butter crunch. And this one here is...
I almost feel bad doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Oh, it's okay. It won't hurt the plant.
It's perfect.
That's what we want, and that's what you get if you look after it right and you're in a hydroponic culture, you see. This is the type of lettuce that you would sometimes get if you buy in the store those clamshell
It tastes like
packages.
something.
Gotta taste like lettuce, right? That's what it's all about. This isn't a true hydroponic system because you see...
There's dirt.
Dirt? Since when do we have dirt? No way.
All right, explain.
It's a hydroponic system, so what this is a pure hydroponic water culture system.
Spiffy.
It's just grown in the water, but then this is not straight water. We take the water, we desalinate the water with reverse osmosis. This is termed a nutrient solution because it has all 13 essential elements.
Name all 13.
Calcium, magnesium, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, which are your major or macro elements. Then your minors include copper, molybdenum, manganese, zinc, boron, a little bit of chlorine, 13 of them. Then they get the other 3, calcium, nitrogen, and hydrogen from air and oxygen and the water.
Well, you must go through a lot of tomatoes.
Well, we
do you
do.
sell them to anybody else on the island?
No. We give the guests, when they arrive, they have a little bowl of cherry tomatoes, which is, we call amenities, which they can sample right away, and there's a little card on there that invites them to visit the farm so they can see how they're grown. But, you know.
Incoming.
So they can really experience what they're like when they pick them right off the vine.
That's like candy. So it is so easy for us to forget what stuff is actually supposed to taste like.
Yeah,
this would be a fabulous place. I would come here just to bring my kids, well, my daughter here, just so she could learn what food's supposed to taste like.
And there is only one word to describe how the crops in this big glass room taste. Perfect. Even the herbs, which grow out of many hanging gardens, are like concentrates, megamart herbs turned up to 11. I suspect this is because Dr. Resch's goods stay connected to their nutrient sources much longer than traditional crops, and it doesn't hurt that the nutrients in question are perfectly balanced.
The irony to me is that, you know, we're traveling around a bunch of islands and looking at my interest, which is, you know, kind of traditional foodways and how they're going away. And if there's a commonality, it's that none of these islands can support themselves agriculturally anymore. Do you think there could be a time when what you're doing can actually change the world, so to speak, at least down here, as far as making sustainable agriculture?
Hydroponics really fits into areas where you've got limited water supply, you've got poor soils. If you established a hydroponic farm, say about 5 acres or so in one of these islands, then you could ship to neighboring islands. And so these all have opportunities, and each one of those islands could have their own hydroponic farm.
Well, you could say local.
Local.
The L word.
Not only local, it's on site.
Yeah.
Fearing that we might consume every single morsel of food growing under his glass, Dr. Resch takes us just across the road to visit a very different type of farm. Not 100 paces from Dr. Resch's water world is Franklin Brooks' Empire of Dirt. Organic dirt, that is.
I love to begin my production with healthy soil that will give me healthy plants. Healthy plants will give me healthy vegetables, and healthy vegetables will lead me into a healthy lifestyle.
So the real secret to organic cultivation is soil. It's all about soil management.
Begin with healthy soil. No herbicides, no weedicides, no miticides. Soil creatures is a must. Recycling is a must. Only biological. Another concoction again, and this time it's only garlic.
Garlic?
Only garlic.
What is that for? Is that also to keep bugs away? Or?
Strong aroma. Chase the aphids away.
Chase everybody away.
Aphids away.
Chase me away.
Again,
that's
natural.
some strong stuff.
I love to grow eggplants.
Why do you like eggplants so
I
much?
somehow just love them.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, I love eggplants. Caribbean people love eggplants and saltfish. It's down to earth, no?
It's all earth.
Down there, it's all earth.
All earth. Earth science, non-earth science. Well,
no, don't say that.
No, I'm not.
We're still
I'm
in the
not
same.
kidding.
It's still the same thing. The physiology of the plant's still the same. It's taking up those nutrients, whether it's soil or whatever.
Right.
Still the same.
And then it's all organic from then on.
The afternoon shadows are growing long, so we head back to the boats to prepare for our longest sea voyage, 13 hours of open water called the Anegada Passage, which, oddly enough, will take us to Anegada. A seagoing supper when Feasting on Waves returns. Knowing that nourishment will be required to get us through the long night's journey to Anegada, I dive into my galley duties well before dark. Prepping our hard-won Seba Tanya is nasty business, and even as I load it into the pot, I'm not exactly sure what this provision's final destination is going to be. As for our foraged breadfruit, that goes onto the grill, whole, very traditional, or so I'm told. Now, while the rest of the crew packs for the crossing, I chop, mince, slice, and grind.
I have made a dressing out of mustard, the lumpy lemons from Seba, garlic, and olive oil.
As for the cornucopia of hydroponic greens provided so generously by Dr. Resch, well, they should make the world's most flavorful salad. Time to retrieve the hopefully tasty breadfruit.
There we have the roasted breadfruit, which at best will taste somewhat like a potato, which is good. Let us all remember that this is the food that Captain Bligh ended up having a mutiny on his hands because of. It was transporting breadfruit to feed slaves. He brought the fruits in the Bounty up from the Pacific, had the hold just full of them, and apparently used most of the water rations that he had on board watering these plants, which are supposed to, like I say, provide food for slaves in the West Indies. Because of his wasting of the water rations, his crew mutinied. There may have been other reasons, but the breadfruit was part of the problem.
It's soft.
No wonder Captain Bligh had a mutiny because of breadfruit.
Now, I am certain that in the right hands, breadfruit can be a delicious addition to any meal, but unfortunately, my hands aren't those hands.
Fire catapult! Here are the Tanya, foraged Tanya we mashed, and it was hideous. So we did the only thing you can do with hideous food, which is that we added a considerable amount of fat and some herbs, and then fried it into croquettes. So we'll choke these down. It's night of the croquette. We have fish croquettes and Tanya croquettes, and the problem is you might not recognize which is which means you might latch onto something really horrible. There's no sour cream. Where's Marion? Get Marion. All right. We know that the hydroponic salad will be good, so it falls to me to have the Tanya croquette. That's edible. That doesn't make me gag. Hooray! Hooray!
If I show any dissatisfaction towards my cuisine, it's because I arrogantly thought I could come down here and instantly adapt to the provision cook style. Truth is, these ingredients require considerable skill and practice to conquer. Mid-morning, we approach Dog Island and drop anchor. We're here to rendezvous with a dive boat from Virgin Gorda that has brought us some lovely tanks of air and a nitrous mixture which will allow the camera guys to dive deeper, longer, without having to worry about the pesky and highly uncomfortable phenomenon known as the bends. I should mention that this is a hunting expedition of sorts, and the target is the most celebrated crustacean of the islands, the spiny lobster. After a particularly graceless entry, we start our descent. Now, the bottom under the boat at this point is only maybe 25 feet deep, and right away we see a lot of life. Those are French grunts there, kind of schooled up next to a coral head. Pretty common fish around here. For a little while, I tried to chase a little wrasse. Believe it or not, that's called a slippery dick. I'm not kidding. Don't see any lobsters at this point, but I'm kind of poking around, looking underneath all of the coral and the rocks that are there. Nothing there. I'm looking for those antennas that stick out. I follow a little blue tang all by himself over one particular coral head. Then we move a little bit deeper, about 45 feet of water, more rocks, more coral, more fish, including a beautiful princess parrotfish. That's the big one in the middle of the screen there. At this point, the life starts to change as we go deeper. There are finger corals, fan corals, sponges of various sizes. More fish, of course, big brain coral there with some other corals growing on it. Once we get down to about 50 feet, we start to see some different fish. There are some snappers. Those are actually called schoolmasters, if I'm not mistaken.
good-eating if I could get to them. And then there, finally, I spy some antenna. Ah, there it is. And a nice big one. Of course, you can't dive for lobsters and hunt them unless you're a native and you're a free diver. Luckily, we've got a guy on the boat that can get all the way down there in one breath. I would never, ever make it. So he dives down and uses a little pole called a tickler to get that guy out. You can see it's got a noose on one side so he can kind of get hold of the tail. Nice little poke. And out comes the lobster, and he's got it. The problem is, this is not a boy lobster. A quick examination, at this point he's got to be running out of air, shows that this is indeed a female. And a female, certainly at this size, is illegal to take in these waters. So back down to its hidey hole, the lobster goes to live another day. After poking around the area for 20 more minutes with no success, we decided to change tanks and try our luck in deeper waters. Just off of Great Dog Island, in an area called Coral Gardens, lay the remains of a Shorts 360 passenger plane that went down during an abandoned takeoff in 1993. Luckily, no one was hurt, but the plane, well, it didn't do so well. The fuselage is now a burgeoning reef in its own right, and I figure it might be a place I'd go if I happened to be a lobster. I just kind of want to find a couple more of them. Trying to kick my way up through the fuselage to stir up as little silt as possible so I can see around. Nothing in the tail section, just a few more fish. No signs of lobsters anywhere. I have to say, as a pilot, this is not really the way you want to see an airplane. Luckily, there are no skeletons strapped into the cockpit. That's a bit of a relief. No lobsters either. There's plenty of signs of life on the outer fuselage. You can see different shapes and colors of coral starting to take hold. And up on the roof of the plane, many little colorful tropical fish are feeding. Of course, the old rule, is that the more colorful the fish, the worse the eating. So we're going to leave those alone. I do see what I think is a stoplight parrotfish, though. I'll have to look that one up when I get back up onto the boat. Then around comes a little, I think that's a wrasse blenny, judging by the stripes and the speed. Can't eat him either. Back to the boat for a snack. Look, a whale shark. Oh no, that's me. When feasting on waves continues, we finally land lobsters on a dock with a machete. Although we surface empty-handed, our appetites are intact. So we pull anchor and head off to Anegada proper, where we know there will be lobsters on the menu. Because its highest point is only 28 feet above sea level, our next landing is called Anegada, or Drowned Island. This 11-mile-long spit of coral and limestone has lured many a craft into her crusty arms, and over 300 wrecks now litter her reefs. But what is bad for boats is exceptionally good for spiny lobsters, and that's exactly what I got a hankering for. Drive on, Captain. The reefs that ring Anegada like a spiked dog collar are indeed famous for the huge, juicy, spiny lobsters they harbor. The problem is, getting to those lobsters requires negotiating the reefs, and to do that, you'll really need to be guided by a local. And the local fishermen aren't too eager to show the world where their bread and butter lay in wait. Lucky for us, there is Whistling Pines, a beachside eatery where the proprietor and chef, Sam Claudius, keeps a cache of famed Anegada crusties close at hand. Vinegar?
Mm-hmm.
And a machete.
And a machete.
Vinegar and machete.
Lobsters,
That's all you need to deal with the lobsters.
That's right. Go in.
Of course, I'll learn later that everybody knows that if you soak lobster in seawater and vinegar, it tenderizes it. You learn something every day.
Okay.
Can I help you?
If you want to.
How can I help you?
By just holding up the coil a little bit. Can I hold it up again? I'll be fine for you guys tonight. Okay, I'll work with that. Just tight again. Now I'll show you. This one is a man.
You can tell by the
It's a male.
the flappers are hard.
They're small.
And instead of feathery,
that's right.
They're small and hard.
Okay. Now let me see if I find
female.
A female.
Male.
This one.
Oh.
This one is a female. See, those are brother.
Right.
Yeah.
They're feathery. You got the
right.
feathers under there.
Get a little bit. Okay.
A little salt water.
That's right.
Vinegar. White vinegar. It would be ironic if you cut yourself taking off the top of the vinegar.
There you go. You do like that. Okay.
A pint.
Just hold it, put it on it back like that. Hold my machete, put it right there. Clip the toes. This is that. Put inside. Okay. Soak it a little while.
Can we get all those in there?
Of course.
Of course.
Okay, that's about it.
What kind of wood is this?
What we call it?
Pine straw?
Yeah, that's just to light it.
Just beech stuff.
Yeah.
Beech trees.
We call it the torch wood.
Torch wood?
Yeah.
Because will it burn a long time, like a torch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sam takes me into the kitchen to show me how to make his special lobster sauce, which involves white wine and a giant tub of margarine. Again, white wine and giant tub of margarine. The giant tub of margarine goes straight on the cooktop. A hole is made. The wine is poured in. Then some dried herbs go on top. I think it's some thyme, and he's got some oregano in there. A little MSG product goes on top of that, just a sprinkling, and then some adobo, very popular in this part of the world. Right on top of that. Right on top of that big old pile of margarine. Some fresh garlic is chopped up and added as well.
I trust you, Sam.
Trust me. Okay? Leave that to simmer down.
Yes, simmer down indeed.
That's right.
Now that just cooks down. That's not something I think you've ever seen on Food Network before. You're wrapping it so that everything is covered except
the meat.
The tail meat.
That's right.
So the idea here is you don't want everything else to burn?
That's right. You see, the file stop the bottom from burn.
Right. Now, how come we've got such red flesh here, but white flesh here?
It's just different textures of lobsters.
Sure that's
Think it's different ages?
I don't think so. Some from deep and some from shallow waters.
Oh.
So I think that's where you get two different colors.
Okay.
Okay, so there you go.
While the fire cooks down to the coals that we'll use for cooking, Sam gives me a little lesson on harvesting coconuts. Again, with his machete. Kids, don't try this at home.
Now you rest right there and don't chop your hands.
No,
okay?
no chopping of hands.
Now, once he's chopped into this, we will use the coconut water inside for a variety of bar-related drinks. And the flesh will be used for, well, actually, I don't know what Sam's going to do with it.
There you go. Careful, don't fall.
Delicious, and it's full as it can be. And we have another one, so.
You get another one, don't worry.
That's a lot of water for that coconut.
But don't chop your hands, okay?
I noticed you kept a hold here.
That's right, yeah. Hard. Ah. You gotta hit and pull.
Feels very... I'm not getting anywhere. All right, I give up.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you do it.
Okay, look how easy it is now.
Yeah.
After making me look like a complete idiot, we harvest more of the coconut water, which we will mix with equal parts of rum, an Anegada specialty, at least on this end of the island.
When Feasting on Waves returns, the stage is set and the curtain goes up on Lobster Fest. So you're happy with the fire?
That's right.
Okay, you're happy with the fire. You got coals now. You got our magic margarine mixture.
That's right.
1 line.
I put 1 already, so 2 lines.
You got to have some citrus to brighten things up.
That's right.
That all goes down in that foil cup.
That's right.
It's just a dreadful spot to have to work, isn't it? Here on the beach, sailboats.
Okay. Now I start putting on my lobsters. That's it now. I put on some potatoes to get big. Right here, bake my potatoes.
Close the grill.
That's right.
Kaboom.
And said cook lobster.
Cook lobster. Cook.
Cook, that's right.
Well, since Sam's done all the work while the lobsters cook, there's not anything to do but drink more coconut water and rum, which goes down mighty easy. Of course, Brad continues to hog the pitcher, but that's just the way these sailors are. Right before the lobster's done, Sam wraps up some triggerfish with just some chopped aromatics, wraps that up with some foil and adds that to the fire. It's a pretty light fish, so it's going to cook quickly.
What do you like so much about cooking?
Oh, trust me, I just like it.
I mean, is it because you like feeding people?
Yeah,
or
just like feeding people. I like feeding people. Get the stir my fire here nicely. What I do, because my potatoes go on late, I'll take some of them and just dump them in the fire.
I'm with you on that, brother. Just get them in there.
That's right.
They'll get all crispy on the outside.
That's right.
I hear you.
Okay, what I do now, I'll just close it again for a few more minutes while my butter get heated. Then I'll be ready to serve you guys. But while I serve you guys, put on my ribs.
Ribs don't take as much time as lobsters.
No, because these are already cooked.
Oh, you par cooked them.
That's right.
You boiled them.
That's right. Okay, now I just throw my rib.
Back ribs.
That's right. Just put that on mahi. Put on some barbecue sauce on the rib. Paint it up nicely.
At this point of the evening, I cannot begin to tell you how the air around Whistling Pines smells. It is thick with smoke and food smells, including shrimp, which seem to come out of nowhere.
Looking good? Okay then.
Just when I think I'm going to pass out from hunger, the lobster is taken out of its armor and put onto a serving tray. That means it must be dinner time. Nice location, huh? The table full of friends and good food. There are the ribs, there's the mahi-mahi, which was finished with just sauteed vegetables and a good bit of lemon juice. Very nice indeed. Of course, the real showstopper is the lobster. There it is, just laid out with citrus. I'm very happy.
Looking over my notes, and for anybody that's planning a trip into the Caribbean anytime soon, there are definitely some time references that you'll need to know about. For instance, I had figured out that if a native Caribbean person says now, they really mean soon. If they say soon, it can be anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours. If you ask them to do something and they say, I'm coming to you, that means hold on, just keep your pants on. I'm working on it. And then there's the general expression, soon come. And soon come just means it's going to happen. Don't worry about it. Let it go. Oh, and another expression that's critically important, as we've seen before, is the tooth suck. If you say something to a West Indies person and they go, that's general displeasure and disdain. for you, especially if you show impatience with any of these other little time things. So remember, not good. Okay, I'm glad we got that worked out.
The next morning, we set sail in hopes of honoring an old feasting on asphalt tradition. But I have to find something first.
Appears completely uninhabited. Oh, this isn't right. Maybe something higher. Gonna see it in here, are they? Okay. This blasted underbrush is confounding us. Must be high ground here someplace. That's not a bad idea. Let's throw something in the shells. This is how we're gonna get there. Come on, Mike. I told you to bring your shoes. You should have brought your shoes. Ah, this is promising.
With that, we lay claim to yet another piece of the planet. When next we feast on waves, we'll harvest salt, roast some fish, roll some roti, find one love, get religion, and drink a lot of bushwhackers.